Hi, you're probably here because you want to participate in a community energy initiative. That's great because it means that you not only want to invest in renewable energy but also enhance the role of all citizens in the energy transition. In this video, Marilys and I will be talking about inclusion and participation in schemes of community energy. Traditionally, cooperatives have been seen as a catalyst for social inclusion and equality. For this reason, most people who want to invest in renewable energy and participate in a community are choosing these kinds of schemes. But let's see if energy communities and cooperatives are as inclusive as we think. Marilys?
Thanks, Marcela. When we talk about participation in energy communities, we are also talking about a capacity to invest. Therefore, some social groups are more likely to participate than others. Recent studies have proved the exclusiveness of energy communities in many European countries. Members and actors are mainly older than 50, male, and with access to financial and educational resources. However, in order to get the energy transition even more broadly accepted in society, it is also necessary to increase the participation of social groups perceived as underrepresented. These social groups that are mostly perceived as underrepresented are people with a migration background, young people, people with physical and mental impairments, or furthermore, people with low incomes. 67% of respondents see educational attainment as the most important factor in the decision to participate in an energy community, followed by income, gender, age, and membership in local associations. In other words, energy communities have paved the way for citizens' participation in the energy systems, but are still lacking mechanisms that can ensure the inclusion of everyone.
Thanks, Marilys. We can see that there's a problem here. If we take a closer look at the population distribution of the EU, we can observe that 51% of the population is made of women. At least 5% of the total population of the EU comes from a non-EU country, and in some countries, such as Germany and Austria, this figure is close to 10%. Moreover, 1 in 5 Europeans reported in 2020 to have some form of disability. Regarding education, we can also observe that only 33% of women and 29% of men in the EU have access to tertiary education. We can see that diversity is at the core of our society. It can be of many different kinds, based on gender, sexual orientation, country of origin, marital status, age, and a wide range of other aspects. However, diversity has not been reflected in our institutions and in decision-making spaces. Many of the groups, including women, migrants, and in general households in situation of vulnerability, are not being heard in the political spaces at a national, regional, municipal level or in their community, and consequently, their perspectives and voices have been excluded.
That reminds me of that concept of intersectionality, doesn't it?
That's right. We can use the concept of intersectionality. Intersectionality is an approach that helps us analyze how different aspects of a person's identity can combine and overlap to create different forms of discrimination or privilege. Therefore, if we analyze our energy community using an intersectional approach, we can identify which groups are not being represented, but can also define adequate inclusion measures.
Podemos identificar no solo qué grupos no están siendo representados, sino definir medidas para su inclusión.
Representation is a critical step towards the acknowledgement of historical dynamics of power and marginalization that shape contemporary societies. This recognition allows us to address the barriers to participation that different social groups might face. These can be, for example, financial barriers or low access to STEM education. If we take women as an example, these can be roles and social norms. Within energy communities, the household is usually represented by the head of the family, but head of families are often the husbands.
But what can energy communities do to have more inclusion? First, awareness, raising and education to break cultural and social norms and beliefs. Secondly, it is necessary to have training activities in the topics related to the community. Moreover, it is possible to have gender and diversity tools such as participation quotas. And finally, membership procedures should be flexible. That means financial flexibility, simpler administrative formats, and generally less bureaucratic barriers for those who want to participate.
Inclusion means recognizing and addressing differential needs, perceptions and priorities among people, and by doing so, energy communities can address issues of social justice and equity, but also address challenges such as energy poverty and how it disproportionately impacts social groups currently underrepresented. And finally, bring everyone along with the energy transition.